I can't sit closer to you. Breathe. Breathe, little one. Breathe.
I'm not the little one.
I am 5 years older than you.
Yeah, and I've got a good few inches on you.
Okay, fine. That's probably the only bit of hilarity you will get in this video.
More than likely, yes.
I'm basically going to upload this raw. No editing. This is basically a public service announcement about mental illness. Since May is Mental Illness Month.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it
I
is.
did not know that.
She did not know this. Both of us live with a mental illness.
It's,
Or multiples.
I'm not even sure entirely on mine. I've been diagnosed with anxiety, just general anxiety, but I'm not putting too much stock in that considering my anxiety medicine stopped working recently, and it's mostly shown more at work and how I've been acting as of late rather than how I carry myself in videos, because that's me pretty much trying to actually control it and stuff like that. But when I'm in a situation that I don't want to be in,
it just gets worse.
It gets worse and worse, and my mind starts going in circles. It makes, even the littlest things have this weight to them. Like, my boss could say something like, "Oh, we notice you've been having trouble with the hours you're currently on. We're thinking about cutting your hours a little bit." And, while she's there, I'm like, "Okay, sure. I have no problem with that." And then afterwards in the break room, I just break down crying, thinking that I can't do anything right. And then I'm not doing a good job at hiding the fact that I'm hurting.
My thing can be as little as someone telling me that I can't sing that well, to as big as, why can't you work faster? Why can't you do this? Why can't you be more like so-and-so? Which will start a whole entire mantra of evil in my head. And once that starts going,
the day's pretty much a write-off, huh?
Yeah. You've seen those days.
Oh, you've probably seen my days too. My week so far. I haven't been able to even write for fun, and as of late. Mm-hmm. And it's bugging me so badly, because that's also my coping mechanism.
And it's mine too, so when she doesn't write, I don't write either.
Yeah.
And we've both suffered a giant bout of depression recently.
Yeah. I know I had a bit of a breakdown just a little while ago. Oh, I think it was Sunday, I want to say. Hey, it was on Sunday. Hey, I didn't tell you about it mainly because
I was having my own problems.
You were having your own problems. I didn't want to bug you with that. And
you saw me on Saturday. I didn't want to bug you with mine either.
Yeah, I noticed. I'm just kind of like, something... And even I was just kind of like, oh, something's wrong. Oh, no. Oh. And even then, in the back of my mind, I'm like, did I do something? Did I cause something to happen? Oh, God.
So, yes, we're both... The way that my significant other explained it is that we're a jigsaw puzzle. Whereas certain people that I know, their jigsaw puzzle is missing pieces, or they've got parts from another puzzle in there. Ours is just, maybe we've misplaced a piece or two, but we found it with each other. And we're working on putting our puzzles together with help from each other. So yes, I do like the puzzle analogy for that. That we aren't broken, we're just broken apart.
Yeah.
We just got pulled apart. And as you can see, some of my ADD is coming out because I'm like jumping from topic to topic.
Yeah, and a lot of people will probably notice, my stutter and stuff like that, or the filler words that I use. The filler words are mostly to alleviate the stuttering. Like, you'll hear me say, or something like that.
Take a shot!
Thank you.
Sorry. I have to.
I know, you gotta lighten the video somehow. A little bit at least.
You've noticed that mine is, Anyways, another one that I've noticed since I started editing videos is I will say or anyway to help try and get my brain back on track.
Yep, or I will sigh or anything like that. And people have noticed this, and sometimes they take it the wrong way and think that I'm either bored or uninterested or that I'm aspirated in some way. Hey, and that's not true. It's just me trying not to repeat a sound.
Also, sighing is the human's way of basically hitting a reset button.
Oh, don't make me make the joke. Don't do it.
We already saw the joke.
Yeah.
Anyway. There we go again. Anyway.
In any case, yeah, that's one I used to.
In any case.
But,
I'll bring up one. Sometimes mental illnesses can be tricky because sometimes they get misdiagnosed. When I was 16, they misdiagnosed my post-traumatic stress disorder as depression. And they gave me antidepressants. The antidepressants made me suicidal. So much so, to the point of one day I took a bottle of Tylenol PM and I ate the entire bottle. I had to have my stomach pumped, and I ended up in a mental facility for 72 hours to make sure that I wouldn't try to kill myself again. They hated me there because I wouldn't eat the oatmeal and I wouldn't eat the mashed potatoes.
Just something that you can, make sure nothing's in it.
Exactly. Because I already felt bad enough that I abused a sleeping drug. I wasn't going to get sucked into having another drug added to my system.
I can't say I've ever gone that far. I've never actually...
You're still young, sweetheart.
Yeah, I've never actually attempted to take my life, but I have very seriously considered it before. And even now, it is awful with mental illness walking by a major road like I do. It's awful. Like, I walk by South Boulder Road
and there's a
day.
Train.
There's a train. There are cars going by every second. And I've walked down that road for years. And I can't say that the thought has never crossed my mind. It's awful.
The thought has crossed my mind before to throw myself into the trash compactor at work.
Yep. And just because the thought crosses your mind doesn't necessarily mean that you want to.
It's just sometimes, and this is from my experience, sometimes I feel like I cause too many problems simply by existing. And if I stopped existing, the problems that I caused will be stopped.
That's about the same for me, actually. Since I know that 90% of the stresses in my home do come from me. Like, I know that for a fact. Like, I have, that has been pointed out to me before.
Ooh.
Mind you, as a reason for me to go get help rather than anything else. So I know that they're not, it is not through malicious intent that they're pointing it out. They're trying to motivate me to go get help, and I actually do appreciate that. But that's not the best thing to tell someone with a mental illness that walks by a major road and a railroad track on their way to work.
Yeah.
Mind you, that's probably why I have music and stuff like that, just to kind of keep my mind occupied from darker thoughts. Yeah, when I don't have my phone or anything like that, it's worse.
Another thing I will point out is that post-traumatic stress disorder comes with an addiction. Mine happens to be nicotine. Two other people that I know, their addiction was harder drugs like cocaine and meth, and another one that I knew, alcohol. So much so that when I visited her one time, she drank so much that she was actually drunk and telling me all sorts of dirty little secrets, and I was only drinking enough to be tipsy. Oh, yeah. So, I could have been worse. Worse than that is actually something I have to tell my significant other every day when he complains about how much I smoke my e-cig. It could be actual cigarettes, it could be alcohol, it could be the harder drugs. Honestly, I'll take the nicotine. You know? You're a caffeine addict.
I'm a caffeine addict, but that's more from lifestyle rather than my mental illness.
True.
The thing for my mental illness, the addiction that came with mine was food.
That makes sense.
Food. If I am having, like, the worst day, my appetite will be the first thing to tell you that if I'm barely eating, or I'm eating too much without realizing it, something's wrong, stop me. or if it's the opposite way, get me food.
Yeah, and you've seen me do that to you. What are you doing? Give me that.
Yeah, she has to check me a lot, and I am very grateful for that.
Like we said, we help piece each other together.
Unfortunately, one of the things that I do, and that was part of the inspiration for making this, is I start to isolate myself from anyone who doesn't reach out to me. And it's not even something that I completely realize that I'm doing. And this is something that's just day to day. Suddenly my mind will just prioritize them, is it lower and lower and lower until I've gone like 3 months without talking to any of my online friends. And which sucks. Because I used to talk to them every night. Hey, like back when I was in high school and my mental illness, anxiety, I don't care what I call it at this point, wasn't nearly as prominent, or it didn't matter nearly as much.
It's okay.
Yeah,
You're gonna rub your skin off.
That's why I'm rubbing the part with the sleeve.
I will put cat cone on you.
Don't get me started on that. Yeah. You probably noticed that I've been wringing my hands throughout this. I've been rubbing parts of, like, mainly my shoulder and upper arm.
And I've been chain smoking.
It is a stress thing.
Yeah.
And it is, no matter what, anxiety is part of my mind at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost a constant thing now.
Oh, yeah.
There is always something in the back of my mind that I'm worried about. How even if it is so small, or it's not even something I should be worrying about.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes mental illnesses or disabilities like ADD don't get diagnosed until later in life, or they will get diagnosed when you're young. Like, I was diagnosed with ADD when I was 9. They put me on Ritalin, and I was a zombie. Yeah. I stopped taking the medicine when I was 10.
Yeah.
I will live life going, ooh, a bunny.
I still need to get myself checked out for certain disabilities. Like, my mom suggested getting me tested for autism before.
That's actually one that Tony mentioned.
Or, she has mentioned getting me tested for, ADD before. Because I did go to therapy as a kid. And I actually went to physical and mental therapy as a child. And even the person who I was working with suggested getting me tested for it. My mom didn't at the time. I think it's because she kind of saw it as yet another thing that kids could tease me about, which is why
that
they
makes sense.
oh yeah, let me talk to you about bullying. Oh God.
Oh yeah.
I was bigger, I had glasses, and I was a little slow. I was the kid in the class that had the special seat so that I couldn't hurt myself on the seat. Yeah, I was that kid throughout elementary school. And in 2nd grade, some asshole decided, hey, I'm going to fuck with you. I'm going to steal your backpack and run across the playground with it. Because you can't catch me, and I know you're going to try anyway.
Jerks.
Hey, you're gonna get it back, don't worry, but not before I call you all sorts of names and whatnot. Mind you, by the end of 2nd grade, the real bully kind of showed himself, and I actually made friends with one of my former bullies. He became one of my best friends for a while, and unfortunately, he's one of the poor people that I have lost contact with because of my mental illness. I am so sorry.
Aww. And then I was bullied as well. However, I was homeschooled, so that left one of 3 people who could possibly bully me. My dad, who is the biggest sweetheart on the planet, and I act a lot like him. My brother, who is one of the 2 people who was bullying me. He threw me down a flight of stairs once because I told him to stop torturing a cat. That ended up injuring my right knee for the rest of my life. And my mother. And yes, you can see that I'm already crying. From the time I was 13 until my mom finally got divorced from my dad, cheating on him on this biggest sweetheart on the planet, who worked sometimes 2 to 3 jobs, if not 4, to provide for us. She cheated on him. And I was the one who found out because I found a letter that she wrote to a Robert McLean. That's not my daddy. And from the time I was 13 until she left, she told me every single day that I was ugly, that I was worthless, and that I wasn't worth loving, and that she should have killed me when I was born. This coming from the woman who told me until I was 13 that I was her joy. That's why my middle name is Joy. Telling me that I am worthless.
Well, you aren't. I love you, you know that, right?
No, you too. Wow, I was not expecting to get that emotional. I thought I was okay, but apparently not.
Yeah, it's hard.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to admit that there's something wrong with your family unit. As for me, I love my mom, and she's one of the strongest people I know, and yet I'm the person who's caused her the most pain too.
I love you.
I never knew my dad. As much as that was a normal thing growing up for me, it was normal for me. My mom got married when I was so young, I might as well have had a dad. I never knew my biological one, and I've never had the courage to ask her why. Because I'm not sure if...
Okay, sweetie.
I'm not sure if she conceived me of her own will. I'm not sure if I'm not the result of someone forcing themselves on my mom. I've never had the courage to ask her because I'm scared of the answer. I've always I've tried to go and ask her, but I always end up avoiding the topic because I just don't know if I can handle that. And I know she loves me, and I know she cares about me. I mean, she wouldn't put up with all of this mental illness bullshit if she didn't. But I can't imagine if that is the case, having been a reminder of something like that for years. She's told me that she has been raped before. She's told me that. She's never told me if that's what led to me. And I don't know if I ever want to know because, like I said, I don't know if I can handle it. Because it hurts knowing enough that I wasn't planned for. I know. Oh, that sounds silly. More than likely, it sounds so silly. Because, I know she cares about me. It's just. It's hard enough of thinking I'm a mistake. Of some sort. It'd be even worse thinking that I was as part of a bad memory. And then to go from that and have 3 relationships, 2 of which ended because I wasn't ready, and 1 of which ending in, the worst possible way. That last one, every memory from it, just feeling like I was it's gonna sound so awful, but that I was important to someone. That I was someone's world, and it turned out that that person didn't exist.
Well, you're important to me.
Thanks.
And I will tell you how important you are. All those times I have suicidal thoughts, there are 2 people who keep me from really jumping into the bin. You and Tony. That's it.
Thank you.
And that's the God honest truth.
Okay. So, to everyone who I've been isolating myself from, and to my family who has been dealing with this bullshit for just as long as I have at this point, I am so sorry, and I am working on trying to change it as hard as I can. And it's because I want to be at my best to help you when you're not at your best. I've always prided myself on being someone that others can confide in, even if they're complete strangers.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like I can do that if I'm not at my best myself. That's why I go for months without talking to you. That's why. And I know it's awful, and I know it probably sounds silly to you, who, considering that I have also sometimes shared with you some of my worst moments from those times. It was when it wasn't nearly as bad. But it's gotten to that point where I almost never feel like I'm at my best anymore. And I want it to change.
That's why we're seeing a psychotherapist. Her name is Melissa Jones. And she works on EMDR, which is eye movement desensitizing reprocessing. It helps you take those moments and destroy them so that you aren't attached to them for the rest of your life. Because yes, we've both been through hell and back. And I always feel like apologizing just because I live. And I just want to apologize for Tony for having to deal with that for the past 6 years. Because I don't know how to take care of myself. I don't know how to be an adult. I don't know.
It's the same situation that I have. I know it sounds ridiculous to blame it all on one thing, and it's not just one thing. No, of course it's not. But it is a major obstacle for me when it comes to trying to move out of my parents' house, when it comes to trying to work up the courage to get a new job.
Or learning how to drive.
Or learning how to drive. All of that. We both want to get better so that we can start to actually live.
Instead of survive. Because that's all we're doing right now. We're just trying to survive. I think that's why we became friends so fast. Because we both knew that we were surviving and hoped that leaning on each other, we would start living.
And it's starting to work. We just need to take a...
One day at a time, one step at a time. So please, if you know someone with mental illness, don't tell them that it's their fault. Don't tell them it's an excuse.
And also, please don't tell them just to get over it or get over themselves. I have heard that time and time again, and let me tell you, I would if I could.
Mm-hmm.
The sad thing is that I really can't at the moment.
Not without some severe psychological help. And that's what we're doing. We're seeing a very nice doctor. And we're going to get better. So thank you for listening to our PSA about mental illness.